What's happening, people, and welcome to this week's episode of It's All Blakademik with your host, myself, Jordan Jarrett-Bryan. And this week on the show, I want to have a discussion about black business leaders and whether the black community can do more to support each other and whether it is or it isn't. Before we get into our panel and our debate, I want to do a shout out for all of our socials. I know you're all on Facebook, so don't front. So go and find us on Facebook. Go and follow our page. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter as well. And obviously you're on our channel now, so subscribe. The button is just below us. Just click it, do it now, click it now. There you go. Right. So I'm joined this week on the show by freelance business manager Aziza Francis. I have Paul Atote here, businessman who runs Start Tech, and also Leon Olstrong, director at Solaris 2. How are we doing, guys? Everybody good?
Very well. You?
Thanks for coming on the show this week, guys. Right. So you've all either ran or been heavily involved in business in some form. And I want to find out, I'll start with you, Aziza, whether you feel like the black community does a very, very good job of supporting each other when it comes to business.
I feel the black community are very good at supporting you when you start a business in terms of accessing your services or buying from you. But I feel like in terms of the leaders in business in the black community, sometimes you don't know who the most successful people are, or they may not be so accessible. So it's very hard to get the guidance that you may need to sustain whatever it is you're doing where you're at. But in terms of the community supporting you when you start, I think they can be very supportive.
Do you agree, Paul? Do you agree that the wealthiest black leaders and black business owners within our community do, as Aziza says, a good job of giving that first hand to people that are coming through?
I think it's a mixture. So there's some people who've made quite a name for themselves, but our access, especially when you're starting, might not be as forthcoming or as direct as it should be. So a lot of people do well, but actually going back to start pulling people up or kind of providing that knowledge. Because I believe, each one teach one, but that actual knowledge for me starting out, I don't think it was as accessible as it should have been.
So when you started up your business, did you reach out to black philanthropists, business leaders and wealthy corporations that who are black, or did you just decide to do it your own way, off your own back and your own money? Did you reach out when you started? A mixture
of both. I believe, it's better to start the train and then, reach out and get the guidance. So I got the train, got it running. And then, I met people, I reached out to people on LinkedIn and different platforms. And I've had people, kind of reach back to me and been very helpful as well. So I guess there's both sides of the coin there.
Okay. Leon, I'm not sure I personally agree. I don't feel that the wealthiest black people within our community who have businesses and opportunities to give a hand out to startups and people coming through do as good a job as they could, and in my opinion should do. What's your experience of when you started up your company and when you entered the business world?
I think I'm with you, because in terms of my actual business, I've kind of the opinion, I do as much as I can on my own before I ask for help. Once I've exhausted my capabilities, then I'll go and ask for help. But in terms of my filmmaking, when I've tried to reach out to get, funding or, some kind of branding to help me, then it hasn't been so forthcoming. But I don't know, I won't be so quick to brand everyone. But as like Paul said, it's not been as forthcoming. So maybe there are people out there successful, made a lot of money, and they don't make it known what they're doing to help others. But I would argue, why would you not make it known? Because I think our community in particular, there's a need for us to be helping one another. So, if you are helping people and kind of keeping it covert, you need to make it more overt, because we really need to be there for each other, because it seems there's no one else is,
Aziza, you were saying at the start there that you feel that generally we do a good job of giving a handout and a bring-in for those that maybe need it. You're a person I know has done a lot of work here as well as in the States. Do we do as well as black Americans do in terms of that proliferation of money and opportunity to its own community?
I feel it's very different here. So when you ask, do the wealthy black people in business help people starting up in business in the UK? When I'm speaking of an experience where it's if you know who they are and you reach out to them, there's a potential that they could help you. Have they helped me? No, they haven't. Do black people access my services and buying to what I'm selling? Yes, they do. So in terms of the community and the people that you know supporting you and investing in you, yes. In terms of the leaders in the UK in business that are extremely successful, I don't even know who everybody, like, who are they? Like, when we're celebrating Black success in England, I feel like we celebrate people who are mediocre. I'm just going to put it out there. In America, when you meet a successful business person, they are millionaires, they are billionaires, they are making moves. Whether they will support you and put you on, I don't know. But from my personal experience, they welcome you in the room to have the conversation. They give you advice. They motivate you. Like, everybody's trying to get to the bag. That's it. Like, everybody's trying to get to the bag. Because it's so common and it's so normal to be Black and successful, it's not like we're coming together as Black people to do something. This is what I do.
This is what you do.
And what do you do? What can you bring to the table? Being Black is not like the main focus of conversation in business. It's more about talent and drive and motivation. That's the kind of energy that I've experienced. I would say a lot of people in America that are Black know somebody who's rich, or know somebody who knows somebody who's rich, or who knows somebody who knows somebody who's in business or successful. So to have that dialogue, that conversation is very easy. It's not a big deal. A lot of my family members own businesses. They motivate me. They inspire me more than the people that we're told to look at and aspire to. You can't be successful in business in America without having money. In London, you can win a business award and you didn't even turn over 50K this year. It's a very different culture.
You know what I'd say, but I think, you're right about talent and drive and motivation, but I think that those of us that have succeeded it's harder for people in our community to have. We've got an abundance of talent, but because of the daily battles that we have to face that other communities don't, that drive and motivation can be crushed. So I would argue that, that those of us that are successful have a certain resilience, and, these people are the anomalies, the strong amongst us. Make yourself known and come and help people, to develop resistance to get the drive and motivation.
Like, I find, like, in the UK, can somebody tell me an area, a location or a neighborhood where all the rich Black people live? There is no community of successful, wealthy Black people living. When Black people get money in London, they step away from their own people. Or you can be in a business situation and there's all white people in the room and there's another Black person in the room. Do you think they're trying to say hello to you? No, they want to be the only Black person in the room. They act like they don't even know you. They can't even see you.
You think,
yeah.
Maybe on a subconscious level.
Like, they don't even know they're doing it. That's their behavior. In America, if you walk into an all-white environment and you see another Black woman, she's like, hey sis, you good? Because we're about to survive tonight. They don't do that in London.
I know that kind of behavior, but also I would ignore those people because, I don't behave that way, and I'm sure you guys don't behave that way. But that's a common behavior pattern experience that I've had in England. I've been in the business arena from the age of 15. I'm 33. That's a common experience that I've had here throughout my experience.
So it's a culture thing. In this country, we don't acknowledge.
When you get to a certain level, you don't embrace each other. Like, I don't experience it. I don't see it. If you're in an all-white dominated situation that's to do with business and money, often the Black person in the room is not trying to know you.
No, I wouldn't disagree with that, but or with any of your experiences. But don't we almost have like a duty or obligation that we can change that and bring through the next generation, and we can foster a culture whereby we do support each other.
We can change it when we acknowledge who the real Black millionaires and billionaires are, and we bring them into the room. Because I don't believe they're in the room. I believe a lot of the Black businesses that we know of, or successful people that we know of, are they really turning over numbers? The bottom line is...
So it's a numbers game. There's just not that many Black billionaires in the country. No, what we call successful
in London might not even be success, but we don't know. When you meet somebody in business, do you ask them, how much money do you turn over in a year? We never ask that question. We never...
Why didn't you ask?
Because it's easy to be an entrepreneur. Everybody just registers a business, throws up a website, and I'm a boss. My job, I'm a truth teller. So my clients come to me with their business ideas. They could have won awards. I'm like, how are you promoting yourself publicly to be this success, but then behind the scenes, this is a mess? I'm the person that comes and cleans up your business mess. You're messy. Your stuff looks messy. I was trained by white people. when I was young, trying to do business and trying to get ahead, no black person wanted to hear a 15-year-old girl talk about she wants to take over the world. It was a white man that put me on and said, you know what, Aziza, you think we can do this? I got you. Let's do this. Mm-hmm. I had my own magazine company that I was running in my community with a white man. And me being 15 and him being 24, people were like, what's this kid running around with this man trying to do?
So is that maybe the problem, that maybe not? It's not so much a thing of the wealthiest black people in this country aren't saying, I like your idea, there's 30 grand to start it. They're not even giving the teachings of how to kind of grow that ladder. Is that maybe the bigger problem?
Do we know who they are? Can anybody on this panel name me 5 black British billionaires?
No, I'm struggling.
I just want to know. Oh, okay, let me make it easier. Billionaires. Okay, forget billionaires, millionaires. Name me 5 black British millionaires that we know. That is not their net worth, it's their actual money, their cash, hard money. 5.
No, I'm struggling.
Not including celebs, huh?
No celebs. Just regular black people that are about this bread.
We're struggling.
I know a few, but they're just people that I actually know. They're not people in the media.
Yeah, but they don't have to be. That's the problem. We want people to be celebrities to be able to teach us how to get to the money. It's not the celebrities that are getting to the bag. It's their management teams behind them. It's their business managers that teach them how to get to the money. The people that you mentioned, they're the most important people. We need to know who they are. Your friends that you just think, they ain't nobody. I'm trying to go to dinner with them. I want to meet them.
I wouldn't say they're my friends.
But you know them.
I know them. But again, they're not forthcoming. They're important, but they're not forthcoming. As a community
of people, we need to embrace them.
So why are they not forthcoming? Why are these people who have money and I'm sure to some degree influence, why they're not forthcoming?
I'll agree with you, is that they move away, not necessarily just physically move away, but mentally they move away from the community, and I think that again we don't inherit wealth generally.
But then you come back to the community when it's going all wrong because you want the community to invest in your next venture.
Yeah, they do that, but that's what I mean. I feel like if you are for the community will be for you, but. I think
I'm not so sure.
I can't speak for them because I'm not one of them, because I'm only speculating, but I suspect that, again, we don't inherit wealth. So once you get some wealth, you kind of think, well, I'm going to hold on to that.
I want to follow that point on with Paul. Do you feel there is an element of, because as black people, it is so hard to become a millionaire in this country. Once one makes it, it is that kind of, I've got to protect my thing and I can't really think about no one else.
Do you know what it is? I feel like sometimes if you open the floodgate, this is just me being... seeing it from the other side. If you open the floodgate, okay, I'm here to help people. People take help, ever they don't actually use your advice. Like the first 5 people you give advice to, or you give 10K to start their business. If out of those 5, one goes to Miami just to go on holiday with your money and they waste your time, after that, you might just shut that door. So you don't know with some of these people, like if you spend all your time helping people, what time do you have to run your company now? So I guess it's that balance, to understanding that, how do I differentiate myself to attract these particular people to be in a room with them too?
Is that selfish? And if it is that necessarily a bad thing? Because you're thinking about your business, growing your business, as opposed to how can I help everyone in my community rise up with me?
I don't feel like you can help everybody. I don't know.
But if every wealthy black person helps one person,
I think that's all you need. I think it's a chain reaction. You train one person, and the one person might train one person. You might train 3 people. And I feel like if you know something, you should teach it. And I feel like we all want to guard our cards towards our chest, and we want to just play it in secret in order to further our lives. But sometimes I feel, can you truly be happy knowing that someone who's like you, isn't getting or being able to achieve what they wanted to because they haven't got the information that you have?
See, I find that attitude, and I tend to agree, quite dangerous, because I look at other cultures, Aziza, and they're not doing that. They're helping their cousins and their family members and their friends, and as a culture, they're bringing each other up.
100%.
Is that sort of, I've got to look after my things, I've got to protect what I've already got. We're never going to progress.
I agree, but I feel like before you put yourself out to teach people, you need to make mistakes, you need to get it wrong, and then you need to build yourself back up, and you need to get it right. And you also need to be willing to take the risk on someone, not everyone. I can honestly sit here today and say I can make anybody rich because I spent the whole last year focusing my energy on making somebody rich, and I did it. I can't go and say, I know I've got this gift and skill, and let me tell people I'm capable of this and give you some free workshops and hope for the best.
Yeah.
In order to get the formula right, you have to do some things in life in isolation. Now, can I go and help a whole community of people be rich? Absolutely. I can. And I run events for 15 to 20 people on a monthly basis, and I give them the know-how. A lot of people don't want to work. They don't want to do the work.
When you say people, you mean black people?
Yeah.
People in general. As well.
People in general don't want to do the work. But I think sometimes when you never had to take a certain risk before, the risk can be very scary. So for people say like a lot of black people don't have wealth and generational wealth. Black people are wealthy. Black people are some of the richest people I've ever seen. When you go into a black household, you will see Gucci, Louis, Balenciaga, flat screen TV.
It's all aesthetic.
It's all aesthetic, but it costs money. If they change that, if we said, okay, let's get a whole black community to practice minimalism for a year, do you know how rich everybody would be if they were to become minimalists?
It's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen. No.
It's not going to happen, but I'm just giving you an example of the different ways we can teach our people to become wealthy. It's not always about this big mogul coming along, and it's mindset. It's the mindset of our people. If we keep saying we don't have wealth, then we will never have wealth. We need to change our language because we do have wealth. There are many black people that are wealthy. They're just hanging out, and sticking together. And I can say sometimes I feel like I don't want to be around nobody. I just want to chill. My family are extremely wealthy. And my family come here to England all the time. And where will you find them at? Bloody fish fry. They're Jamaicans playing Ludo. They're just regular, normal people, you know?
The wealth. So is it more about the individual taking responsibility on their mindset and how they bring themselves? Have I spun this wrong? It's less about those with wealth helping others. It's more about you having the mindset of, I want to be wealthy. I'm prepared to put the work in. And if a bring in comes along the way, great. But this is about me. I've got to deliver.
No, because I think that, again, it goes back to not all of us are strong enough to do that. And we can't say because some of us are that everyone else should be. And again, because we do face daily struggles. Like, I used to work as a teacher, and you do say there is a completely different way that the black children are treated and labelled, and you've got to be incredibly strong to overcome that. So some of us are strong enough to overcome that. So I would argue the ones who are strong enough, and, exceptionally strong and become the successful business people, need to put systems in place where you don't necessarily have to be mentoring all of this, but you can create structures that help people and systems that help people. And also, it's not about, I don't think you have to teach the whole community. So there's this, I might get this saying wrong, but it's something like, if you have a herd of sheep led by a lion, all the sheep will behave like lions. If you have a herd of, a pride of lions led by a sheep, all the lions will behave like a sheep. Yeah. So if these rich people can help to create a number of leaders, a number of lions to lead the rest of the sheep, then we'll have more people behaving like lions, and we'll all rise up.
I feel like one of the things that we do wrong as black people is we look at business as black. Like, I just think when you're in that mindset of wanting to have a business, I don't even think black people should look at themselves as black business owners or black business. I think when you start with that, that's like a negative narrative.
I've only seen it in that way because, like I say, I see other cultures doing a really good job of helping them.
Why would that be a negative?
Because we already feel like we have less. So when we say, oh, black people have less, or black people in business, when you think of black business, what are the top 5 things you think of black people doing business? It's negative. Like in terms of their experience, can they be trusted? So if you're going in with that energy surrounded by whatever it is you're going to do, then you're going to have to overcome those barriers that you put in place. So it's just like,
well, on that point, it's something that kind of came to mind when I was planning this debate. Is the lack of trust, or the perceived lack of trust we have amongst each other, a possible reason why we can't work together and bring each other? We don't quite feel like, I can trust that person because they're black, and that mindset, as he says, is a minus before you even start.
I think I feel like that too. In my company, I've done both, right? So when I first started, it was a faceless company, completely faceless. I put the brand out there, and people were contacting, and it's like you don't know who's behind it, so it still leaves that air of I don't know if it's a black company, it's a white company, because the quality is so high. And then for a bit, I thought, you know what? Let me put my face on the website, big old smile, and to see the differences of what happens. And I think when that happens, you attract a different kind of people, unfortunately. It's like, whether it's over familiarity sometimes, or whether it's if it's a black business, it's a bit cheap, because my product is more of a high-end product, in a sense where we provide amazing branding for companies and you pay amazing premium for them. And, speaking to people, it's like, oh, you're a black company, you shouldn't really be charging that, or you shouldn't really be doing that. And it's sometimes it's like an uphill struggle in order to establish myself as a trustworthy individual before I can actually get you to understand the kind of things that I do. It's something that I'm just thinking about now. I'm not a person to complain about things. It is what it is. I have to figure out how to kind of work around it. Yeah. But like in hindsight, I've noticed that as something, if you with me.
Just finally, guys, I want to talk just briefly about young black people. Are they doing a really good job of helping and supporting each other? Maybe not so much financially, but I definitely see a movement amongst young people, particularly online, of supporting each other's businesses and movements. And are they almost a new generation of black leaders, potentially?
Yeah.
Are they getting it right?
I think they're getting it so right. I love the way young black people in the UK particularly move in business. People are not afraid to collaborate. They're not afraid to work together. The energy is nice. Like, I've seen it, I've experienced it, and it's very different to what it was like for me coming up. When I was coming up, there were hardly any other black people really doing business. Just seeing them in terms of the technology, like everything's very much about visuals now. So there's a lot of black people that can do graphics, filming, editing, and they're just coming together, making their little teams, doing their thing. I think it's amazing. Do
you agree? Do you think the young generation have kind of got it right in terms of cracking that code, I suppose, of becoming successful businessmen and women, and then going to that next level of becoming then wealthy businessmen and women?
Yeah, I believe so. I see like less fear, less fear to collaborate, less fear to actually, I'm seeing people quitting jobs and chasing their passion. And I commend that, and I respect that, that ability to put yourself in situations you're not comfortable with and take that chance. I think that's dope.
You agree? What do you think about the young people that are working together?
No, I agree. I think it seems like the young generation seem to have a lot more pride in their blackness, than previous generations. I also think there's less of a, when I was younger, there was quite a divide between, African and Caribbean. And now I think that the current youngsters are kind of the first true generation where they're black British. So they're all the same. You can't distinguish from whose parents Nigerian, whose parents are from Jamaica. So they're all one and the same now.
Guys, that was great. Thanks for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are on Blakademik TV here. Subscribe. All of our socials as well, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Until next week, peace.